Soil conservation and soil erosion, whatever we have to be highlight. So it is very important part right at this moment, because without soil, ये हम जन्म लिए हैं, हम मिट्टी में लिपट जाएंगे. So that's why the soil conservation is very important part of our life. Without soil, we cannot live, and soil is a very important part of our life. I'm also sharing one PPT if it is possible. Yes.
Salute,
Is it
salute,
visible?
salute. Triple salute to madam.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Inspired by
madam,
you.
madam,
Okay.
from tomorrow, one button
Yes,
is
yes.
there. Some button is there which can make it full screen also. You are on the right path.
Okay, okay.
Tomorrow we will see it.
Okay,
Please
thank you.
continue.
Thank you. Okay, okay. Thank you. Okay. So basically, there is a universal soil loss equation is A equal to RKLSCP. A equal to predicted soil loss, R equal to climatic or rainfall erosivity index, K equal to soil erodibility, and L equal to slope length, S equal to slope gradient, C equal to cover and management, P equal to erosion control practice. So soil conservation is very important. Why this conservation is giving us, and we have to highlight it, and we have to make ourselves very aware on this particular aspect, because conservation is a set of management strategies for prevention of soil being eroded from the earth's surface, because without soil we cannot, without soil there is no crops may be grown. So that's why the soil is a very important part, and if we cannot link any kinds of crops, then we cannot, there is will be a food insecurity. So food security will be getting deteriorated, and we cannot get the food, especially the staple food, we have to lose it. So the chemically altered by the over uses, acidification, then the sanitization, then the erosion, other chemical soil contents would have been deteriorating. So it's deteriorated. It also lost the soil fertility, which is very dangerous right at this moment. So why this soil conservation important? Because this soil also provide this nutrients, recycle or filtered water, the stores water. The soil is the basis of life on the earth, and especially the plant kingdom, which is growing up and giving us the shelter, shade, foods, all kinds of requirement. Basically, the oxygen. Without oxygen, we cannot live a fraction of second. So these the trees are blooming on the soil. So conservation. So there is a three types of crops we can find it out in this the on the earth, especially the cover crops. These cover crops are very important, and these cover crops we can make it, and we can also provide it, and the close growing crops that provide the soil protection, seeding protection, the soil important improvement management, and improvement between periods of normal crop and the production. So this mixed cover crops, including grasses and legumes, especially the increases the biomass returns of the soil, enhance the activity of the soil organisms, and improves the soil productivity. So that's why the cover crops are very important for the soil fertility, to develop the soil fertility and soil quality of the soil. So this advantage, cover crops also very advantageous for the protection of the soil against erosion, providing soil properties, the enhancing the soil fertilities, suppressing the weeds, the fixing nitrogen, and the increasing the soil organic matter content, the increasing the crop yields, then the recycling nutrients. So these are the very important parts of this, the advantages for this, the cover crops. Then the plant trees. These trees are very important because we know that the all kinds of roots of the trees firmly hold on to the soil. The soil is holding the plants and especially the roots, and we have seen there is the plain land hill areas trees, plain land trees, and there's the mangrove forest, like this the sea line, this the saline water trees. Those qualities are very different, but all the characteristics are the same. They are holding the soil, because if the erosion is continuing, that means the soil is not having the stability. That's why the trees are also very important, which can protect the soil erosion. So soil that is under the vegetable covers, and the hardly any chance to getting the eroded for the vegetables cover, and this the wind barriers. This wind is when the wind is coming, these trees are protecting us. If there is any storm, the natural calamities, these trees are protecting us, protect the soil, and we are also holding the soil. These trees are holding the soils, and that's why it is very good for us that we are finding our stability and sustainability. Terrace farming is also very modern term and modernity which has been introduced by the terrace farming. That is that there is in terrace farming make it to form the sloping land into the especially the number of the flat areas which resemble that the series of steps by which we can fold it. We have seen in the it is the Darjeeling, then Sikkim, then the Ooty, this hill areas. The terrace farming is very important, and the types of crops like the rice, cotton, sugarcane, the wheat, potatoes, and these kinds of terrace farming is also for farming for the vegetables and the teas for farming in this terrace farming. And various advantages like the contour farming effectively reduces rear of erosion soils with the slopes of the 10% they have to soil erosion, and the holds the rainwater, which allows for the cultivation of the water intensive crops. And mentioned also the farmers can get and benefited by this the technique, and because it is allow for the cultivation of the water intensive crops, these areas is also trapping the water, and they are also restoring this water, and that's why the hill area is getting cool, and it is also giving us the natural sustainability. No-till farming is also it is also observed, and it is a modern technology. Noting farming leaves old materials like the stalks, cabs, leaves, and the behind when the planting the new crops. These old plants hold soil in the place until new plants grow. That is a very important, because when one plantation over, then the another plantation will be start. We have seen in case of the jhum cultivation, but it is not yet been practiced. And then in case of this cultivation, we have seen the especially the indigenous people, though had maintaining, though they don't have the any knowledge of the modernity, but they practice cultivation. And after completion of the one part, the one crop system, so they can burn it the total area, and they can transform the cultivation, and they can shift the cultivation to the another area. And after completion, after 2 3 months, so when the cultivation is completed, then they can return to the previous the old area, and that time they can get the very good soil condition, and this soil condition giving the good crops. So that's why it is very important for this the And the benefits of this, the control of soil erosion, maintaining crop productivity, increasing soil organic matter, reduces wind erosion, decrease soil evaporation, sustain crop production, promotes the microbial processes. These all are very important and improves the soil physical condition. This is a very important part. And the contour forming and blowing, that is also this practices farming across the slopes takes into the very slope gradients and the elevation of the soil across the slope, and they can restore the water in the soil. And this is also, this crop forming is happening in the Great Britain, so where there is the water quality is very less. There is no Ganges basin, there is no sweet water, especially there is no the less of sweet water. That area is this contour farming is also, the plowing is also observed. And then the crop rotation, this crop rotation is another system of the soil conservation. Like the this rotation is the practice of the growing a series of dissimilar types of crops in the same area in the sequential seasons. This is the continuous cultivation process which can develop and leads to an imbalance in the fertility demands of the soil. To prevent this adverse effects of the taking place, which is the crop rotation is practiced. So if there is any kind of adverse situation may happen, this crop rotation can produce and can develop the soil quality and fertility for the next season crops. This advantage, the reduce soil erosion, improve the soil properties, increase the organic matter content, improve soil fertility, increase crop yields, reduce the buildup of the pest, then increase net profits, improve the wildlife habitat, reduce use of chemicals, and this reduce water pollution. So this is the very important part. And intercropping, it is also very important because which can maintain a zigzag process by which the different types of crops we can produce in the same time. So this intercropping is a multiple cropping system where the two or more crops can grow simultaneously on the same field. And this intercropping takes into account of the beneficial interaction and intervention between the crops, and while the creating possible interaction with these various types of crops. And you can produce the multiple crops, then the multiple crops at the same time, the multiple vegetables also you can grow, so legumes you can grow, at the same time the rice you can grow. So that there are several types of crops you can grow in the same field and same method. So the advantage also giving and produce the erosion. They can stop the soil erosion, increase the plant biodiversity, and help the disguised plants decreases the chance of diseases, so which can minimize the pest problem and improves the soil fertility. And the salinity management, it is very important because nowadays we have seen the salinity management soil, that is the caused by the extensive or excessive accumulation of salt, which has the negative effect on the metabolism of the crops in the soil. The salinity of soil is determined and detrimental for the vegetables for this the soil quality. The death of the vegetation is also bound for the cause of the soil erosion. Hence, the salinity management is one of the most important and indirect ways of the conservation soil. That's why it is flourished, and it can give us the soil conservation and the soil protection with the part of this. And another one thing is very important is the forest floor management. Forest floor management, if we have seen in the biodiversity and the forest canopy, that is the canopy development program is also giving us the two-tier canopy. If we can introduce the three-tier canopy development in the forest area, so in between the two trees, if we can plant any medicinal species and herbs, shrubs, and trees, so this three-tier canopy will be provide the also protect the soil erosion, and it can give the and hold soil and the soil productivity. So that's why we can develop, because the sunrise, the photon rays used to part of the soil enter into the soil and develop the soil productivity and soil health, product the soil health also. And windbreak, it is also a very important system where the windbreak sheltered in a plantation. Usually this up to the more rows and the trees, that is we can develop it as a linear way or the parallel line by which we can develop this windbreak situation. And soil organisms, the soil organisms like earthworms and the other benefits the soil should be promoted. And earthworms through accretion of the soil enhance the availability of the micronutrients of the in the soil. They also enhance the porosity of the soil, so they can then the soil health will be the develop. And if the soil health will be the develop, then we can get the more productivity, and the fertility of the soil can give us the more crops productivity. So this is the scale by which we can develop the soil fertility and the acid and alkali, and where the neutral point is the pH scale. If it can develop in the balanced situation, then only the soil health will be developed. And important parts of the soil by addiction of the acidic or basic pollutants, and acid rains has an adverse effect on the soil. So if we have to protect the acid rain, we have to contaminate, and we have to maintain the balance of the pH in one determinant factor of the availability of the nutrients of the soil. So we have to maintain the balance in the pH. That's why the soil health will be developed. And soil conservation policies are there. Soil conservation policies also giving us the conservation reserve program, then the soil conservation services, natural resource conservation services. These are protecting us and giving us the soil productivity. And in the conclusion, I can say that the well-designed cropping system enhance soil fertility, reduce soil erosion, and improve soil properties. Management of the cropping system involves management of the tillage, residues, and the nutrients based and the erosion control practices. Cropping system include the four follow systems like the monoculture, strip cropping, multiple cropping, contour strips. These all are very important parts of our life. And especially the indigenous people, through this indigenous knowledge and the Indian knowledge system, also conserving the soil fertility and conserving the soil rate in health, by which they know it is their indigenous knowledge by which they develop the soil quality and soil restoration. So that's why we can say that the Ayush have the very rich source of the soil conservation, because all the medicinal plants are forming in the soil. So if the soil quality and soil health will be the good, then the medicinal plants grow very proudly. It can grow and develop the health conditions of us, because the if the conditions of the plants is very not good, so we cannot get the good medicines from the plants. If the aloe vera is forming aloe vera, ashwagandha, whatever the medicinal plants are there, it's not providing and not getting very rightfully, so we are not getting the good medicines. So there is 40,000 species of plants kingdom. The medicinal plants are endangered. So we have to restore the soil for the benefit of us, for the benefit of our health. And the Ayush also has very good sensation for this the soil conservation, because I have observed the Andaman and Nicobar Island. There are several types of medicinal plant species are because of the saline water. So this the plants kingdom which are surviving in the water, they are good, but those who are not surviving, they are getting endangered. That's why the very specific role and important role to protect this soil and protect the soil health. And the Thanks, Ayush. And Ayush, next 5 years, we can say that we can foresee the Ayush is getting their, the soil conservation, wildlife conservation, protection of soil, protection of the good medicinal plants, which is also forming on the soil. So that's why it is very important part of the Ayush. And I certainly really thankful for that. Thank you very much. Thanks for giving me such an opportunity.
Thank you very much, madam. So nice of you. Now I would like to request Dr. Sakat Kumar Basuji. Welcome, Sakatji.
Thank you so much, Professor Sharma. Once again, thanks to both of your collaborative effort on the very beautiful presentation of World Soil Day. I'm just not going to repeat the techniques and stuff that Mehta has very nicely illustrated. I'm going to highlight the main core points of the World Soil Day and why soil conservation is so important. So one of the most important part that we need to understand is because the population of ours have increased around the world, and agriculture is an important aspect of our culture today for the purpose of food security and for feeding the whole world. One of the challenges that we have faced is an extensive development of the chemical industries associated with the agriculture for the production of agrochemicals, which includes the production of synthetic fertilizers, pesticides, for crop production. Now, because the farmers around the world, irrespective of whether they're in a developed or a developing country, are always scared of crop losses because agriculture is a practice in which you have to depend on many uncontrollable factors such as your weather, meteorological conditions, parameters, rainfall, snowfall, hailstones. This is not under your control. Maybe a drought or a famine or a flooding. All these things happen in every country from year to year, and many times the farmer loses the entire crop and they find it very difficult to find a solution at the end of the cropping season, and there may be a huge loss. There has been many deaths of the farmers through suicides and other parts because they are unable to pay back their the money they have taken as rent for running their agricultural businesses and stuff. So it's a constant pain around the world. Out of fear, what happens is that the farmers use extensively fertilizers and pesticides way beyond the requirement. So if you are needed to put 10 kgs per acre, people are putting 20 kgs per acre. If you are needed to spray, say 25 ppm per square unit, they are possibly doing 100 ppm per square unit of spraying. And these kind of overuse is resulting in the production of resistant weeds, resistant insects, which is actually making agriculture a very challenging enterprise for all who are associated with its industry. And the outcome of this product is because that there is this huge lot of chemicals or residuous chemicals, excess chemicals that are depositing in the soil, changing the soil microflora, ascending the pH of the soil, and resulting in crop loss and less productivity. So this is a consistent challenge that has been happening. And also there is this challenge of huge soil erosion. For many of the faulty, non-scientific agricultural practices that we follow in many parts of the world, they're like slash and burn, or not providing cover crop during the non-productive season, or keeping the soil barren without providing a cover crop because it increases the surface temperature, dries the soil faster, and with strong wind the topsoil is lost. And it is important to mention that the topsoil, which is 2 to 3 inches of the top part of the soil, is the most fertile and most important part of our soil health. And if that particular topsoil is lost, then it is very challenging to find something to replace it, and the crop production goes down. Similarly, many farmers or many farming communities follow the same crop every year. If you are growing wheat or rice or jute or one particular kind of vegetable or mustard year after year on the same field, it is going to deplete the soil quality, as because that one particular type of plant is depleting the specific nutrients. So implications or importance and application of crop rotation is very important, where 3 to 4 different crops are grown in a cycle along with some legume crops in between, because the addition of legume crops helps in increasing increasing the nitrogen content of the soil. It's called green manure. So all these approaches are very important now, and a new concept and term has come up. Just like human health, animal health, there is a very common concept called soil health now that is being extensively used in soil science. There used to be a time when soil science was a very important discipline, but over years or over decades, we have seen around the world the soil science laboratories has shrunk. They got reduced. A significant part of the soil science is integrated with other subjects, but it is changing. Even in countries like United States, they are facing very strong focus on training scientists in soil science, soil physics, soil chemistry, and related areas, so that we have competent people to guide us with the challenges of contaminated soil or in increasing soil productivity. And soil health is now considered to be one of the most primary area of United Nations, our agricultural section, particularly particularly in highlighting the importance that unless soil is protected, the future of agriculture is at stake. And if the future of agriculture is at stake, the human civilization is at stake, is because we are dependent on agriculture for food supply, food security, food production, as also we are dependent on it for in supply of various industrial products. Say, for example, jute and cotton, which runs the entire garment industry. If these are not available, crops could not be produced. We are also at stake. Also, like various medicinal plants, pharmaceutical plants, all are part, and then there are food crops. So all with these together constitute agriculture. And if the soil quality depletes, soil degrades, then we are losing out on this on the aspects of agriculture productivity. If you look into the forest, you will see that a fallen log takes over 100 years to get converted slowly over by nature with the help of various detrivores and saprophytic fungi and other end manner processing microbes that helps in the conversion of the a fallen log or a tree timber into the soil. It is a long drawn process. So if we do not take special care in protecting our soil, we are placing ourselves at a very serious risk. So it is very important, as a part of the message of December 5 World Soil Day, that we need to conserve and protect our soil, and that soil health is one of the most important aspects of agriculture these days, in which soil health has to be taken very, very seriously so that we can continue and sustain our agriculture on our lands. Thank you very much, Professor Sharma. Rest everything, the technology has been very well explained by Madam, so I'm not reiterating this part. Thank you very much, and thank you for providing us this platform. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sekat. I am really grateful to you both. You are the great orators and experts on the topic. You can speak on any topic, this much I can understand.
Thank
Really,
you.
really great, great.